series of long delays at the Beit Bridge Border post with Zimbabwe, with hundreds of trucks queuing up to get through. You can imagine the frustration and the delay and the simple waste of money as a result of it, moving goods around. Suddenly a big issue here and around the world. The Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Motsoaledi, has been investigating the problems. He joins us now. Minister, good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for your time on Newsfeed this afternoon. Why has there been such long queues? What caused these problems?
Yes, good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to the viewers and the listeners out there. Indeed, Stephen, is extremely frustrating. When it first happened some few days ago, our Border Management Authority, I'm sure you are aware we've got the interim Border Management Authority Commissioner since January this year, went onto the Zimbabwean side to find out. What Zimbabwe has done is that they've renovated their buildings at the border. They've renovated them through a concessionaire. Now, that concessionaire has opened 75% of the building to use by trucking companies, for customs. Now they are busy with the remaining 25%. That 25% is parking area for trucks, so no truck can park there. So instead of allowing them through, they make them stay on the South African side, because then the concessionaire introduced something which even the Zimbabwean Home Affairs officials or immigration and custom officials said they were surprised about. They are tolling the trucks. Each truck, they toll it for $200 US. For an abnormal load, they toll it for $344 US, and they want the money by cash. So when you combine those, no parking on the Zimbabwean side, tolling for this amount of money, which is cash, literally a truck driver has to stop the truck, rush and look for an ATM, or look for a Forex agent nearby to exchange monies and all that. So on Friday last week, we really pleaded with them, and the South African trucking companies helped us to negotiate that they form a paying office on the South African side, where people must pay with cards, MasterCards or Visa or whatever. Then they said no, they still have to get permission from Harare. We learned this morning that they do have that permission, and that office is being established. It will only start working either tomorrow or on Friday, where people will then pay with cards. And we are hoping that will help the situation. But there's still a remaining situation, that parking, which I've mentioned. But secondly, that even with that new building, they haven't automated their systems, Stephen. You remember that we complained about this thing a year ago, that SARS on the South African side have fully automated systems, and so they can process many trucks per hour. But it doesn't help if Zimbabwe can only process 10 trucks per hour, for instance, because of non-automation of systems. So those are the problems we are still faced with. I've been trying to get their minister for the past 3 days. He responded yesterday that he was in Mozambique for government work, and so I could not reach him. And I discussed the matter with him. I've been waiting. This morning, I really had to elevate it to the presidential level, because it is definitely a crisis now.
Oh, you had to elevate it to presidential level. This is a burning crisis. Is there, I realize, Minister, it's a diplomatic issue in a way, and, no one wants to irritate anyone else. But you would think that when people realize there's a crisis, they would act. It must be quite frustrating.
Well, Stephen, I believe so. And the messages I was sending is that this whole thing, it makes the mockery of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which African Union signed up with pomp and ceremony this year, or last year, when they said they need to be Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Now, the border with Zimbabwe is not an ordinary border. It opens the way for business between South Africa and most of the SADC countries, and up country, even past SADC. So when Zimbabwe is behaving like this, it's frustrating all those countries, making a mockery of the free trade agreement. But now, unfortunately, the Zimbabwean side, at least the officials at the border, said they were taken by surprise by the concession company. Now, what will be surprising, Stephen, is that the concession company is the one which put up the building. Clearly, they were not paid money because it's a concessionaire. They were told to collect money from the truckers. Surely they should have known and planned that on such and such a day we start collecting money. Just to open up and say you must pay money and pay it in cash, it's in very bad taste. Unfortunately, that's what exactly they are doing.
I mean, we know around the world where people have to cross borders, where people have to change money, there are lots of ways to make money on the side. I mean, you see it at almost every border post around the world. I mean, I hate to be suspicious, Minister, but I do sort of wonder, you know, did someone spot an opportunity? I suppose it's quite difficult to say, really.
It's possible, but as I said, the South African trucking companies, because they are losing a lot of money, they also worked with us and they negotiated that the payment office be established here on the South African side, where you go and pay using a MasterCard or a Visa. And as I'm saying, it took time because they said they need to get permission from Harare. This morning we're told that the permission is there now, but they still have to establish the office. We are hoping that things will improve if that happens. Like you, I do agree with you that this might be suspicious because money is made on the side on this type of issues. There is a possibility because I'm also shocked for such a big business to collect money cash. I mean, it's something that is out of this world. But unfortunately, it's happening, and it's happening with our neighbors, and we can't live without crossing the border, unfortunately.
No, it is what it is. So, I mean, realistically, when do you think the pressure on the border is going to ease? Maybe Saturday, Sunday? I mean, realistically?
Well, if they agree about this type of payment, we still are left with the issue of parking on their side, whereby, because they've got no trucks, space for parking trucks, they allow them on the South African side. Remember, Stephen, our disadvantage is that an extraordinary majority of trucks, 90% of the trucks that are crossing the border are the ones which are carrying the cargo from South African side. From the Zimbabwean side coming onto South African side, they are mostly empty because they've delivered their cargo and there's very little cargo they are carrying from the rest of the continent into South Africa. So most of the cargo is leaving South Africa into the continent. In other words, it's outward bound, it's not inward bound. Those which are inward bound, which are empty, which don't need any processing, are very few, and that's why there is no problem on the Zimbabwean side. There can't be any long queues of trucks on their side, and so they don't feel the pinch. The pinch is felt by us because we are the ones who are sending cargo up country, and it's not the other way around, unfortunately.
Minister, I really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much indeed for the explanation. Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, of course, the Minister of Home Affairs.